I accidentally broke a box of eggs, but to my shock the eggs that fell to the ground started frying at an incredible speed. In that instant I realized the ground temperature was rising dramatically. When I looked up I was completely stunned. The road in front of me suddenly split open, as if some creature beneath the earth was trying to break through the surface. Terrified, I hurried to leave. I jumped onto my electric scooter, hit the accelerator, and sped away without even unplugging the charger, just wanting to escape this cursed place. But in the very next second, the ground behind me erupted violently. A massive explosion followed by a raging fire that turned into a flaming tornado, tearing nearby buildings to pieces. To survive, I could only race forward, but even the road ahead wasn't safe. Explosions were bursting across the streets, forcing me to drive with extreme difficulty. Skyscrapers destroyed by fire began collapsing one after another. At that moment, another car behind me was blocked by mine and started honking madly, but I didn't dare to let it pass. The next second, that car was crushed beneath a falling building. I had no choice but to keep speeding ahead. Soon, my car windows fogged up. I quickly wiped the glass, only to nearly crash into a vehicle in front. Luckily, my driving skills saved me, and I managed to stop just in time. Only then did I notice the outside temperature was gradually returning to normal. I opened the door and stepped out, and what I saw made my blood run cold. The entire city was engulfed in flames. Those who hadn't escaped were all consumed by the sea of fire. But this apocalyptic disaster wasn't over. It was happening all across the globe. On a bustling street in Japan, people were suddenly struck by a massive hailstorm. Many were killed instantly, and those who tried to hide in buildings met the same tragic fate. Even cars on the roads were no match for the hail. Countless vehicles were smashed beyond repair. Meanwhile, on a beach in Brazil, another nightmare unfolded. A wave of cold air spread rapidly toward the land. People on the beach tried to run, but there was no escape. In an instant, they were frozen solid, turned into ice sculptures. Seeing this horrifying sight, the survivors ran frantically for their lives, terrified that if they were a second too late, they'd be forever frozen where they stood. Within moments, the cold air swept onto the highway. Birds in the sky turned to ice and fell from above. A woman who managed to escape thought she was finally safe, but the next second, despair struck. A frozen airplane plummeted from the sky, crashing straight toward her and slamming into a skyscraper. At the same time, the Middle East was ravaged by countless massive tornadoes, destroying everything humanity had built. Some people tried to flee, but there was nowhere to run. And in Dubai, a never-before-seen super tsunami came roaring toward the city. Panicked beachgoers scattered in all directions, desperately trying not to be swallowed by the waves, but there was nowhere to hide. In moments, the tsunami submerged the entire city. Even an old man riding a camel in the desert could never have imagined he'd drown in a tsunami in the middle of the sands. And the root cause of all these disasters traces back to humanity itself.